All right, we are now live on YouTube and we are also live on Facebook. And as a guest, I have rescheduled the interview with James Crawford. And we're talking about his introduction into the world of music as a musician and singer songwriter. And I know that there's another film out there, but this is going to be the one that's the official. And I'd like to greet you, James, and welcome you.
Hi, Joy. How are you?
I'm a little shook, but I think we can get through this. I hope we fixed everything we could. So I'd like you to explain to us, and of course, I give a shout out before we start to Luscious Moss Studio, that's owned and operated by Chad Christ out of Edgewood, Washington. He creates a creative and collaborative environment for drummers and guitarists. You can find him on Facebook. Just go to Luscious Moss Studio. All right, James, let's continue with how you got into the music world, starting from square one.
Okay, from square one, basically what happened was I was in a garage band when I was in my 20s. And the garage band leader was a guitarist, and his name was Scott. And he had this awesome riff that was just great. I loved it. I was a singer trying to add music to the riff, and he sold it. And
Lovely.
and he didn't sell my music because I wasn't on it, but he sold his guitar riff to Motley Crue.
Obviously, this was a rock band.
Yeah, and I met Motley Crue in Thousand Oaks at a restaurant, and it was the Red Onion, and it was kind of neat to get to meet them. But
Yes.
obviously, he knew them, so that's obviously who he sold the music to.
Yeah. Oh, that's then there you were. No band, right?
Yeah, no band. So I went on my own down to a pawn shop, found a guitar, and started playing it.
Just like that. How in the world
Just
did you
like
know
that.
the how did
Yeah,
you know
because
the chord?
it just made me so upset that I lost that song that I decided that I was no longer going to be hung up with that.
Yeah. So but how did you know how to learn chords? I mean, it took me a long time. And I don't know even a fraction of how many are out there. So how did you learn
Well,
them?
basically, I kind of owe that to a gentleman that I played guitar with after that. His name is Bruce Roberts, and he's from
Okay.
Ventura, and he's a pipe fitter, and he's a very good guitar player.
Wow.
Um, he actually got me to where I could play with him, and there was a lot of other guitar players along the way. I don't remember half of them because it's decades ago. But
Right.
yeah, but Bruce really stood out. He was quick at making things happen musically, and he had a country twist, to his songs, and and oldie songs, and I just was really into it.
Really? What year was this about? What year are we talking here?
We're probably talking in the 90s,
Okay.
and maybe into 2000. I'm not sure, but I think in the 90s.
So who is the influence? What was the influence that you were following at the time with this with what was his name again? Robert?
His name was Bruce.
I'm sorry, Bruce. With Bruce. What was the influences that you guys were, who were your idols? Whose music were you the
Bruce
most
had a lot of
into?
his own music.
Hmm. I've lost you again.
We're back.
Yes. Oh no. Okay, so he had a lot of his own music, and that's what you were doing with him. What was the name of the band?
It wasn't a band. It was just Bruce. It was
Oh,
his own music, and he had his own music, and then plus he would play covers. It would be like just oldie songs. I can't
hmm.
remember right off the bat what they were, but it was
uh,
just oldie songs.
were you playing with him at the time?
Um, yes, and he would had a way of doing the song that I could follow through,
Uh,
and that's when I first kind of learned how to just play a riff,
yeah,
and keep up with them. If it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't have never learned how to do that. But it was I think from that point on that I started doing music with other people the same
yeah,
way.
yeah. So, what happened after him? After that, were you still living in California, or had you moved up up north, or what was the situation after that? After your time with him?
Well, I was raised in a family, and I was a pipe fitter,
Busy,
and
busy.
yeah, I was a pipe fitter, and I was raised in a family, and I had to do what I had to do to make sure that the kids were okay, and we had a roof over our heads. And I
Absolutely.
did that for I did that for quite a few years, and still do to this day. Take care of my kids. I still have my day job.
Yeah. Right. So in
Um,
there, you had to
and
squeeze in your
the
music.
most important
I've lost you, James. Can
thing,
you hear me? James, are you still with me?
my music started when I basically got into water.
You basically started when you got what? We've tried everything we can to get this connection right. I apologize for whatever's happening because we fixed everything there is to fix and it's still doing it. Uh, okay. Are you there,
And
James? I just barely hear you. I don't know if you can hear me or not. Okay. Are you there? Um, so while we wait for James, we're in the middle of a story about how he managed to pick up music and where he was going with that. All right, James, you're back.
trying to get back in here.
Good grief. I don't know if we're ever going to get this interview out
Okay,
there. We've tried.
okay. So I know it's so difficult. I don't know why.
Yeah.
So
Never ever
my
had the
music
problem
really
before.
started when I got. I know, and I apologize.
Yeah. Well,
The music started for me when I got here to Washington.
ah, yeah. A lot of people here, a lot of musicians, a lot of gigs. Yeah. It's a hot place for musicians, of any kind. So,
It just really took off from where we're at.
so we have two
It's
listeners.
trouble. You with me
Yeah.
still?
Yeah, I'm still here. So I'm not
Okay,
sure.
first
Okay.
thing I played Queen's Rights. Uh, did you hear me?
No, I don't know if it's playing out to the people, but I'm not able to hear
First thing
you.
I did was play Queen's Rights Bar in Monroe, and it took me 2 hours to talk to the lady.
Oh, so we're still trying to work out the bugs. We've been trying this since 4 o'clock this afternoon. And I was talking to James about, did you call me, James? Somebody's calling.
Yes.
Okay. So we'll get feedback here if I answer. All right. Okay.
Okay, can you stay in? Well, I'm on the phone.
Can I do what?
Can you stay? Can you stay on with me on the phone?
If I do, you're going to hear feedback. So,
Okay, so if I leave the chat room, we're still talking.
yeah.
So
I-
you
Can you stay? Can you stay on with me on the phone? If I
I will try. Hopefully we won't get any feedback.
Okay. How about now?
I have added you back to the stream, but there's no picture there. There you are. Okay. Okay, I can see you, but I can't hear you yet, and you're not live.
Yeah, because maybe if I just keep it kind of out of the way, we can still communicate.
Okay. So let's see what's happening here. At least I see you, and you are live. At least for the minute. Okay. So we were at Ukraine's Reich, and I missed what you were saying about that.
Well, I played at their bar,
Mm-hmm.
and it was took me 2 hours to talk the lady into let me play on stage, but finally it happened.
Okay. And this was where? In Seattle, or where were you at the time?
In Monroe.
Okay. So you got a gig, and this was in the 90s. Are we still looking at the 90s time frame?
Well, it wasn't really a gig. I just went up on their stage and played.
Oh, all right. And how successful were you?
Well, it was good. Everybody had a good time. It was a and
So,
I was real happy with the outcome.
and that kind of hooked you right there.
My son actually took me there, and we had a good time. He wished that he could go in, but at the time he was under 21.
Mm-hmm. I had to take you off my phone. Sorry. I'm going to try to remove me, James, and see if we can do that. What I'd like you to talk about next is your song that you've published.
Oh, you're gone.
Okay, don't worry about me, James. Just keep talking about your musical background. I'm just removing me and giving you a full screen. One more go at it. Can you hear me?
It
No, we're just not going to make
totally
this.
booted off. Yeah.
So I'm going to disappear. Can you hear me? Only you will be on the screen.
Yes.
Okay. You will not see me. I want to explain your song, what your ideas and influences were for Walk With Me.
Okay. Well, the influences with Walk With Me, I guess you'd have to say Paul Revere and the Raiders. When I saw that as a youngin, I think that song really kind of touched me. So I'm not going to say I continued to make that song because I didn't, but the other influence on me with that song was it's like in my spirit. It's like a part of me. And I just had to let that out. Um, there's some things that you come on to in life, that you just have to get out, and this seemed to be to me something that just had to come out, and it did, and in the form of song and music and what you do, that's what you end up seeing.
So can you hear me, James? It seems when I'm plugged in, that's when you have the most problems. I was wondering if you could tell us about the background that you used for your song, Run With Me. I believe it was about the Trail of Tears. Can you tell us some of the story of that and how that influenced you?
Ground for my song is my soul. Um, that's where it came from. It didn't really come from anywhere else because I wanted to be different. I didn't want to be like everyone else. I wanted to be just me in a setting where it was from my heart. A lot of times there's people that, are musicians that want to be like something else. And that really wasn't what happened. What happened was is I started playing a riff, started adding some words, and then I met other musicians. And the other musicians, I've done this three different ways. This is, but with Jerry Batista, he brought this thing way past what my expectations were, and that's how this whole thing came to be. I knew the words and I knew what I wanted to say. I actually wrote 2 pages. And the first time I sang it with the band, it was over 10 minutes. So I kind of had to take everything and slow it down a little and make it smaller, so that it could be around 5 minutes so that it would be like the same amount of time as a regular song. And it was just all that energy from the people I know. I want to say, Joey Crabtree, Rick Bowman, Tim Archer. These are guys that are in the music that kind of inspire me. Right now, right here in town. These are very good musicians and very good friends, and I think the world of them.
You were telling me that the song was based on a story of the Trail of Tears. Would you like to explain a little bit about the background of the Trail of Tears?
Well, sure, I would. The Trail of Tears is something that was very horrific that happened to the Native Americans. The Native Americans, it was horrible. To be kicked out of your home and die trying to walk or drag your belongings. Um, this is something that marked me, I think, for life when I gained its knowledge, and it's something I just got into my soul.
Um, and and speaking of the Trail of Tears, I believe that you have a Native American nation background. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's my middle name, and it's Talma, and it's I believe it's Cherokee, and I'm trying maybe with a blood test or you know background checks of things, but it's hard to do a background because basically Indians didn't do things the way white people did. And instead of the name coming from the father, it actually came from the mother. So tracking it down, is a little difficult.
Right, and it came your heritage, your Native American heritage actually came from your father's side. Is that correct?
I'm sorry, Joy, I didn't get the question.
I said when we were talking, I believe you stated that your Native American heritage came from your father's side. Is that correct?
His father died, and his name was Dewey Talma, and his father was David Talma, and that's my grandfather.
Do you know if your grandfather actually lived on a reservation, or do you know anything at all about that background that you're researching to try to figure out what your roots actually are?
Well, that's what I've been trying. I've actually been contacting relatives, and it seems that Micmac is Indian is also there. So I'm trying to figure all that out. The only way I think I'm really going to be able to get an accurate of exactly what's in me is by a blood test.
So I understand that. That's a lot to go through. Um, Also, what were you when you were doing this song and trying to bring it out and publish it and put it on the channels uh, in the stream? What were your influences for the music? Was it what Joey Batista was playing with you?
Well, I think that it kind of speaks for itself. Right now, I think it's over about 400 views. It's like 415 or something right now. And it's been on the radio actually. Um, so that's kind of a big helper, you know. Daybreak Star Radio is really awesome. If you've ever listened to a radio station, and they're nationwide, you can get their app, and take a listen. The my song has actually been playing from 10 to 11 on Mondays, and so it's been a great thing to see it on there.
I don't think 400 hits or people listening to it is shabby at all for the first time. That's amazing, really. So if you get a chance and you're listening, do tune in to that radio station and see if on Mondays and listen to the song that's also posted on Matured Musicians. So you should be able to see it there as well. Now, in the future, are you planning any other songs? Do you have anything else percolating?
Yes, and I hope that everyone out there can, uh, they do requests too. So if you like it, request it. That would be great, you know. But the whole thing is for me is that I just want to tell everyone that I don't, even if it stopped right now, I would be a happy camper because it's part of my art. Some people, they write on canvases, and I put things to words in music as an art, and my art has now gone national. And for me, that's just the most awesome thing in the world. Um, I don't know what kind of feeling you can actually someone can get, but that is the most greatest feeling to know that I've actually touched people's hearts with that song.
Absolutely, I get that. The question that I asked you was if you have any other song that you're working on that you hope to release.
I have actually I've got quite a few songs, um, and I'd like to make them all come out. I have a lot to do. I'm a working guy, and I just want to say, everyone at Walters and Wolf, that's where I'm employed. You know, in the Walters and Wolf team, that thank you for you know backing me, with my music and stuff, because everyone that I've met and everyone I've come in contact with this has just said yes, this is awesome, and just really approved of everything that I've been doing.
Absolutely, I agree. Um, During the time of COVID, were you continuing to write this song or did you have other things going on at the time?
I continue to write songs. I play the piano. So I have songs on the piano. I also have other songs on the guitar, and I play them on a regular basis. That not to out when I'm out and about. Um, you know, and I just hope that everyone gets a chance to see that. You know, I I I play pretty much live in different places at the Oxford. Um, you can probably catch me there.
Yeah, that's where I met James. I met him on Tuesday evenings at the Oxford in Snohomish. It's a saloon, and he was playing this song and with Jerry Batista, and I fell in love with the song. So I'm anxious to hear your new stuff that you do bring out. Also, what have you learned along the way as far as writing songs, James?
Well, I think that it probably would be a good idea to mention that, I mean, there's a lot of different music that, personally that I like. And the music that I like um, is just about everything. I mean, John Denver, Johnny Cash, Kenny Rogers, the Oak Ridge Boys, Paul Revere, Kenny Wayne Shepherd, BB King. I mean, and then you go to the rock side and it's like Rush, Led Zeppelin, Queen's Right, AC/DC, the Beatles, the Scorpions, Judas Priest. There's a whole different amount of musicians and music that I personally listen to. And Pink Floyd. We can't forget about Pink Floyd.
Also, have you ever thought of make writing a song with drum beats with Native American nation drum beats?
Yeah, actually, I have. I play with drummers. Um, you can actually see that if you're on my Facebook. All you have to do is go back a little bit further, and you can see me playing with drummers um, and other guitarists um, with the drums. And some of the stuff that I've done is I think is pretty good, and I think you might even like it. Um, and I hope that this kind of opens the door for me to be able to expand that music and be able to show everyone exactly what I'm capable of, and that's just a matter of time. I hope um, in the future.
Yeah. Do you have any plans to actually put a band together and go out and play in various venues with for the public at this time?
Right now, I'm just kind of focusing on the music that I've got out there right now. I mean, there's a lot to do. I mean, you would think that it's just you write a song, it gets on there, and it's done, but it's not really the case. I mean, there's a lot more to it. You have to pretty much dedicate a lot of time and energy and money to be able to get it out there these days. Um, right now, it's playing on the radio, which is a big factor for me because um, um, this will pretty much tell the future, on how this projects are put together. Um, but I mean, you have to make stuff for your covers. Um, you got studio time. You know, you have to do a copyright. I mean, and basically start a business. There's a lot of things that go on with this that I wasn't really even aware of.
Absolutely. I know that because I've been there. So, in what kind of advice would you give us young singers, songwriters, if you could get your message out there, James?
Hey, maybe you could text me questions.
James, you make my job too hard. Oh my goodness. Um, yeah, I was asking what kind of advice you would give other singer songwriters in the business.
You if you got a question, you could text me with the question, and then I could just read it and then give the answer. If that'll work.
Okay, that's what I'm doing now. I'm sending you a text. Okay, so the question is, what advice do you have for new singer songwriters? Check your text.
Send me a text.
All right.
Never give up. Never give up. There's a lot of people out there that are gonna, tell you, and things beat you down because you're a songwriter or a singer. Go with your heart. Uh, keep being persistent and getting your music out there, because the main thing you want to do is you want people to hear you. Um, so being professional as you possibly can, I would suggest that you do make people listen, but don't be overbearing. But even playing on the street or something, you can get people to listen to you uh, through your music. And but at the same time, there's those people that will tell you, no, you shouldn't be doing this, and but don't listen. Just be you.
I agree. Thank you. I also had a comment. I don't know if it's Jenny or not, but says, "Thanks, Joyce. Joy, I know this is difficult for you, and can you identify yourself so we know who you are? Also, what is your 5-year plan? What does your future look like, James?"
Like you said, identify myself. Um, Identifying myself, I'm just a guy that raised a family and did what I was supposed to do. Um, I'm actually getting older now, and what do my okay? What does your future plans look like? Um, well, my future plans is that in hopes of getting um, some kind of extra cash, so I can afford diapers, because at some point I'm going to get to that point where I'm actually going to need diapers, and I'm going to have to pay for them. The kids were so expensive when I was younger. Um, I just It's the only thing I worry about.
All right. So the comment was from your mother, and I do thank you, James' mother. Uh, yeah, diapers. That's in your future. Oh my. I don't think so. Not for a long time, James. So after you've made this recording, you've got 400 viewers, you feel good about the song, you're writing new songs. What do you see is happening, let's say, a year from now, for example?
So, but just to know who I am, I'm just a normal person. I'm just trying to get through life and t- take care of my family. That's, my only real goal here is to, that my children, will be able to have a future. Um, these days, if to make it as a musician, you barely make it. You really, it's not really something that really gives you a lot of money. Um, so hopefully it works out to where I can just get like a few things and survive.
Well,
And help my children.
historically, yeah, hear you. Historically, music doesn't pay much, but there are people out there who are professional musicians who dedicate all their time to just doing music. I haven't made a penny yet, but I sure spent a lot of them. So, are there any other words of wisdom that you would like to impart to us before you go?
That's it. It would be awesome to be able to, just do music. If I could focus on just music, I would make all kinds. Um, but if and hopefully that's what it comes to. I just, you know, I'm really happy, really right now with what's taking place now. I mean, to be able to have a song that's actually playing on the radio, that's a huge feat for me. Um, if it does get to the point where I'm going to actually make any money, I think is probably going to be in going out and playing gigs. I hope that that does happen, and I hope that I can actually see people, that like my music. That would be awesome to me.
Yeah, I was asking you online on Messenger, what if this music that you wrote and published and put out on the radio and the internet, I was asking whether that was your aha moment, that big moment in your life that changes everything. I seem to have lost you, James. I don't know if you heard it. Read your message.
Well, you almost showed up there for a minute, and then you disappeared. Maybe another question through text.
Yeah, I sent one. I sent one right here. Read it right there. I sent one to you.
It because your picture keeps going out. So I saw you picked up something. It was in blue, and that was about all I could read.
Yeah, I cannot be with you. I cannot stay on here. You don't go live. The minute I'm on here with you, you cut out. So I'm sorry about that. Yes, I sent you a message.
Eyes. I still seem to be working though.
You're only working because I remove myself. For some reason, this connection will not allow us to both be on the screen. Not sure why. I don't know. I've never had it happen before. I will have to investigate it. So I do want to thank you for coming today, James. I am going to end this broadcast. And I know there are a couple of people like James' mom that was listening to our broadcast. And for those of you who did not get to go live, this will be broadcast over Facebook matured musicians and YouTube. So thank you again, James. You have a good rest of your day. Bye. Bye-bye. So that's all of it for our show today. It has been very difficult. I've never had this problem before. I'm going to have to check it all out to find out. And I know it would probably be less difficult for you watching it than what it was for me doing it. In the meantime, I do have another guest coming next Monday at 2 p.m. And his name is Rodney Dean Harrison. He's quite an interesting fellow. In the meantime, do watch for James. Come out to the Snohomish Saloon and Tuesday nights in the open mic, open jam, and see him and listen to him live. He plays with Jerry Batista there during Jerry Batista's show, and he's quite the performer. He's quite the performer. In the meantime, you all have a good rest of your week, and I'm going to end this broadcast. Thank you all for watching.